Fox 2 presents Hancock and Kelly.
Good Sunday morning to you. Welcome to Hancock and Kelly on Fox 2, where we take on the top issues of the week. On the right, John Hancock.
Hope you're having a swell day.
On the left, Michael Kelly.
It's a Masters Sunday. It gets no better.
Oh, that's right. That's tradition like no other, right?
Right.
So is Hancock and Kelly. I'm Andy Banker. On the agenda this morning, nightmarish global publicity about downtown St. Louis gets splashed on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Missouri's Attorney General takes on President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. Big flubs on the presidential campaign trail. Who has more to lose? Former President Trump with abortion or President Biden with inflation? And our quote of the week is about the death of O.J. Simpson and old wounds reopened very close to home here in St. Louis. Also closing the gun show loophole, Iran attacks Israel, and from First Lady Jill Biden. Yeah, she came to St. Louis. Is she sensing maybe Missouri is in play come November? But we begin with dubious news about downtown St. Louis, front and center worldwide, page one of the Wall Street Journal. It prompted this response from downtown residents and Greater St. Louis, Inc., an organization promoting economic growth in St. Louis.
We had a really strong office space for a long time. The future of downtowns is going to be a lot more mixing of uses. So it's got to be a lot more residential. We've already started to see that. Already today, we don't recognize it enough, I'd say. More than 10,000 people live downtown today.
My first thought when I moved here was a lot of revitalization going on. I feel like the city's pushing to bring a lot more people downtown, activity-wise and living.
Overall, the quality of life downtown is pretty good.
And with the Journal's report called Downtown St. Louis's floundering real estate market a nightmare. Three of downtown's largest signature buildings, the Railway Exchange Famous Bar Building, the Stofers Millennium Hotel Building, and the AT&T Tower have been empty for nearly a decade, even longer in the case of the Millennium. The report said downtown was in a doom loop, with empty buildings sucking the life from the streets around them, leading more businesses to leave, making downtown depressing and scary. Not welcome publicity, John, but no one seems to be arguing that it's false, right? It's right on.
Well, of course
That's
it
downtown.
is. And this loop they're talking about, the businesses close, nobody comes down, causing the businesses to close, causing fewer people to come down. It's a real problem. I don't know how you begin to solve this thing either, but it's the business community, by ignoring this or whitewashing over it, is not doing us a good service here.
I was driving back from Illinois last night, crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. The arch lit up. Everything looks great. And then that signature Millennium Hotel, just this dark cylinder right in the middle of the skyline. How do you escape the doom loop?
I don't know. Well, the way you escape it is you recognize that it's happening. Look, the Wall Street Journal, I don't know about you guys, but I got that article sent to me from friends from all over the country. This was a jarring moment. It really set a tone that St. Louis is on a bad trajectory. Now, what's crazy is you just heard the Chamber of Commerce sit there say things are getting better, blah, blah, blah. And then this article comes out. Sounds awfully familiar to a couple of weeks ago when they were saying crime numbers were down and then the Department of Justice surging in crime. Guys, we have got to recognize that there is a huge problem in St. Louis. And if you think back to all the great things that have happened in St. Louis, whether it be the World's Fair, whether it be the Arch, the Spirit of St. Louis, all of it was led by our business community. And now we're watching our business community parrot the language of the administration. They're the ones who are taking up it's like a Baghdad Bob moment, putting their fingers in the ear saying it's not that bad.
The mayor's administration.
Yeah, the mayor's administration and our business community, collectively, we've got to recognize this is a problem. Surrounding communities need to be a part of this solution, or we're all going to die together.
It's a big black eye.
It's not good. And, the sad fact of the matter is that you do have all these empty buildings. Nobody's coming downtown. Overlaying all of this is a crime problem, of course. That's a further disincentive for people coming down. That AT&T building sold for $3.5 million, Andy.
Sold for
I'm shocked. I thought
plus.
Michael Kelly bought it. I mean, $3.5 million for that thing. That's nothing. What did it sell for?
$200 million.
Yeah,
last
right.
It's crazy.
It's not good.
Well, at that kind of price, I don't know if the buyer really has any incentive on doing something. The buyer's out of Boston, and they have announced no plans to do anything with it.
Right.
They won't talk to media. They're not talking about the purchase of that building.
And then we're sitting around as leaders all saying, well, things are getting better. No, they're not. We've got to have a focused, specific addressing of this issue, and it's got to be comprehensive and region-wide. maybe even statewide.
Missouri's Republican Attorney General takes aim at President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. Andrew Bailey announced he will file suit as part of a multi-state coalition to stop what he calls President Biden's attempt to illegally transfer hundreds of thousands of dollars in Ivy League debt onto Missouri working families. He points out that the U.S. Supreme Court has already struck down Mr. Biden's previous $430 billion student debt cancellation plan, saying the president cannot unilaterally do this. He needs approval from Congress. The president has announced another $7.4 billion in loan forgiveness for 277,000 people. He says it's through existing legal programs. He has now authorized the cancellation of $153 billion in student loan debt total for 4.3 million people, which is nearly 10% of all federal student loan debt. Michael, Republicans say he's ignoring the law, ignoring the Supreme Court, and blatantly trying to buy votes for November.
Well, whether or
Are
not
they
he's
wrong?
ignoring the law, the courts will make the final ruling on that. The challenges to this point have said, hey, you can't do this.
Is this buying votes?
I don't know that it's buying votes. I think it's evening out the playing field. During COVID, we watched this government and the Republican-led administration say, everybody apply for a loan. We're going to let you just not have to pay it back. These poor kids that we have put the burden of our economy on their shoulders are sitting there right now with house payments without a home. It's called school loans. And they continue to get overwhelmed by this. Why shouldn't they get their fair share too when we were handing out all this cash? Why should it only go to the billionaires?
Now, this can be argued and adjudicated, but is it right for the Attorney General of a state to sue the United States?
Yeah. Biden's wrong. He doesn't have the authority. He knows he doesn't have the authority. The court said he doesn't have the authority. The president can't go out and spend money like this unilaterally. He can't do it. And to the extent he's giving people false hope out there that their student loans are going to be forgiven, that's not good. And look, this is not the PPP situation. That was a boondoggle. It was a mess. But the government said on the front end, we'll give you money and you won't have to pay it back. That's not the case with these student loans. You're taking out a contract and promising to pay that money back. And what about the millions of American families out there who have sacrificed and paid for their education or have taken out student loans and paid them back? This is fundamentally unfair. It's bad policy, and he's not going to get away with it.
First Lady Jill Biden was in St. Louis to raise money for her husband's reelection bid. Fellow Democrat St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones greeted Mrs. Biden at the airport. Longtime St. Louis Democrat operative and aide to Congressman Dick Gephardt back in the day, Joyce Abusi, hosted an event at her home to raise money for the Biden Victory Fund. It's a big deal, is it not, Michael Kelly?
Well, there's a lot of money and a lot of Democrats in St. Louis that support this administration and want to continue to see it go forward. I wouldn't read into this that suddenly Missouri's in play. It's not. This is a red state that continues to get stronger and stronger for the Republicans. But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of Democrats, institutional Democrats, who are putting money into this race to make sure Joe Biden gets reelected.
You know, I cast this against the Wall Street Journal article. Does this still tell us something about the national prominence and importance of St. Louis that the First Lady comes here?
Well, it's, I mean, you've got a lot of wealthy
Hobnob
people.
with- yeah.
A lot of wealthy people here, both parties, and it's a fundraising destination for all of these candidates. But beyond that, not so much.
Israeli officials claim their defense systems took out more than 300 drones and missiles launched by Iran overnight. Iran attacked in retaliation for Israel's bombing of the Iranian consulate in Syria earlier this month. Israeli officials claim 99% of the drones and missiles were intercepted. The only injury reported so far is a 7-year-old Israeli girl critically wounded by shrapnel. Though the United States is praising the performance of the defense system, President Biden warns the U.S. will not support any offensive operations in retaliation now by Israel against Iran. Is that the right stance, John?
Well, look, if Israel attacks Iran, that's going to escalate this thing, and we're not going to have a choice. We already participated last night in shooting down some of those drones, which is good. But I think here, what you have to hope for is some de-escalation. Israel threatening to go into Rafah in Gaza, that could be problematic. You've got forces aligned to the south, to the north with Hezbollah, and now Iran. Any more escalation here is very destabilizing, not just for the region, but for the whole world.
The president's right to pump the brakes.
Well, I hope...
Say Israel, don't just stop. Let's keep it here.
Yeah, well, barring Iran doing more, so keep an eye on it.
Former President Trump says it wouldn't have happened if he were still president.
Well, he says a lot of things that are a bunch of hogwash, and that's one of them. I personally am grateful that we have a person who has decades of experience, incredible knowledge, no impulses to ridiculous reflex reactions of nonsense, and who brings a calmness and a stability leading us in this conflict. Thank the Lord President Biden's here to help us avoid World War III.
And thankfully, those air defense systems worked. Could you imagine what we'd be talking about if they didn't work?
Well,
if there were mass casualties and hundreds
right
or
over
thousands
the
of
top
people
of
dead.
Jerusalem, right over Temple Mount. I mean, that's where those things were headed. And Israel's military preparedness and capacity is truly impressive.
Up next on Hancock and Kelly, inflation may be to Joe Biden what abortion is to Donald Trump. Who's doing better dealing with the Achilles heel of their campaign?